Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I just wanted to come and talk about this reunion. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. The reunion, it starts off with Wendy basically saying that, it's always a coincidence. It's a coinky dink, okay? Like we used to say. It's a coinky dink that Gizelle wants to discuss something when basically they say lights, camera, action. Um, Candiace is going off, and you hear Gizelle saying, "How did I lie on Chris?" Now, mind you, I could have sworn that Gizelle just apologized to Candiace in part one when Candiace gave numerous examples of things that Gizelle lied about, or I guess things that were out of pocket. When she called Chris a sneaky link, when she said that Chris wanted to see if she was, down with it. And now she's saying in part two, how did I lie on Chris? Girl, we've already went down this road. See, this is the problem. Gizelle is probably one of the biggest liars on the show, next to Karen and Mia. The only difference is they'll dress up Gizelle's lies with rainbows, unicorns, and chocolate, right? Like, what did Ashley say the last episode, the first part of the reunion? She just puts a little sauce on it. No, sweetie, that's called a bona fide lie where I'm from. Gizelle lies. Gizelle tells lies. And she knows that she's telling a lie. Anyways, Candiace says she wants to know, what did he do? Girl, of course we're going to get into this conversation again when Chris comes out. Gizelle says that he made me feel uncomfortable. Girl, that's not Chris's problem. Because you've already told us, and you said it again, this part two, that Chris didn't do anything inappropriate. He didn't say anything inappropriate. You don't even really remember the conversation. That's what Gizelle said throughout the season. So again, what did Chris do to you? You say he made me feel uncomfortable. No, you made yourself feel uncomfortable. Because if you knew that you don't like to be seen coming out of rooms with married men, then why did you go into the room? Sorry. You knew your glam was not there. So if you knew your glam was not there, Gizelle, then why go into the room? Then you turn around and blame Chris and say it's your fault because you made me feel uncomfortable. But then you also say he didn't say anything inappropriate, he didn't do anything inappropriate, and you don't even really remember the conversation. So again, how is this Chris's fault? All right. Mia. Mia is slow. Mia had to be in a classroom with 5 other folk when she was in middle school and high school. And we all know that, girl, when it's a classroom and it ain't a full class and it's probably about 8 or 9 people, we all know what that class is, okay? When we see a teacher, a teacher's assistant, and there might be 5 or 6 people in that classroom, we know, girl, sorry to say it, it's a slow people class. Okay, don't nobody want to be in the slow people class, girl. Mia, girl, you have to be one of the most less than smart people that I have ever seen come across on my television screen. This lady just accused you of embezzlement, okay? And then you turn around and try and defend her. Because Gizelle says that Candiace made this situation bigger than what it needed to be, which is a bona fide lie. Because the truth of the matter is, every time y'all brought up the conversation, Candiace tried to shut it down. Y'all brought this up at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and I believe the very last episode. So if anybody was making this bigger than what it was you and your homegirl Ashley. Let's just call a thing a thing. Because again, every time y'all brought it up around Candiace, she tries to shut it down. Even when y'all brought Elmo's and Bernie's homegirl onto the show, and y'all tried to have some type of, conversation happen between Candiace and her at Karen's thingamajig. Wasn't that Karen's show? Candiace said, no ma'am. She still shut it down. Mia, what's wrong with acknowledging your friend felt that was an inappropriate situation? First of all, we're going to get into that in a little bit because I have something to tell Miss Candiace Bassett, okay? Girl, they're not friends. That's number one. They're not friends. Gizelle says, no, it wasn't that he did anything inappropriate. Girl. You're not smart. Girl, I don't understand. Girl, the few people that I see online defending Gizelle, I really don't understand it. Like, have y'all been paying attention to this season? Have y'all been listening to the things that Gizelle has said? How are you still defending Gizelle in this situation? Anyways, Candiace is upset because she says that 6 months went by and you said nothing. I saw you at my album release party. And then, Gizelle's, I guess she in her defense, she says, well, what did you want me to tell you? Basically, I said, why would I tell you at the album release party? And like Kendra said, but you're going to tell me on TV in front of millions and millions of people. See, this is the problem. I'm getting ahead of myself. Happy Eddie, I'm getting ahead of myself. Happy Eddie is a reach, right? I've said this. Candiace and Wendy, do y'all be watching my videos? Cause I feel like y'all low key repeating some of the stuff that I be saying quiet as this count. Okay, girl, I'm not gonna give myself all of that, but I'm just saying, girl. I've said this, that we're gonna get to a point where men can't even give a woman a compliment, show a little bit of chivalry, right? In the fear of y'all running to the street and saying that he up to no good. Now listen, girl. Now some of y'all men just ain't no good. We got to just call a thing a thing. But girl, for the men out there who are actually just nice gentlemen who don't mean any harm, people like Gizelle, people like Mia, people like Bernie's homegirl are the reason why from here on out, when the men come around, the most they're probably going to get is a hello, girl, hello, girl, and probably not even that. I wouldn't even put it. I don't even think that Chris and Eddie are going to engage when it comes to any type of group activities. Not of Gizelle. Now, if it's Wendy and Candiace, maybe so. But the other ones, I think it's going to be a big middle finger to all of them. Because they see how y'all operate. And everything that y'all have said is just bona fide lies. Because one thing about it, 2 things for sure and 3 things for certain, Bravo not going to cover up for nobody except for Gizelle. But girl, they're not gonna cover up for no Chris. If they had some footage showing that Chris had done what they alleged that he had done, sweetie, they would have shown it and wouldn't have thought twice about it. Anyways, Robyn. They start to talk about Candiace in the live that she did. Did y'all see when? Did y'all see when Andy was reading what Candiace was saying? She was like, "Yes, yes, yes." Backpedal. What did she say? Trying to peddle products across the United States. Yes. Girl, that's why y'all. Girl, quiet as it's kept. That's really why y'all don't like Candiace, because as I said last season, y'all think that Candiace is not held accountable for the stuff that she says. Candiace is very aware. Like she said last year at the reunion, I'm very aware of what I say. Y'all are not aware of what comes out of your mouth. You see, she's sitting here, girl, while Andy is reading the note cards, basically helping him fit it. No, this is what I actually said, girl. I said it was peddling products across the United States of America. That's what I said. But continue, girl. Andy says that from what he understands, Candiace had nothing but nice things to say about Robyn. See, let me go ahead and get this out the way with Miss Candiace. I love Candiace, I do. But Miss Thing, you are going to have to realize that these girls are not your friends. And I think that is the biggest problem that Candiace has right now. The reason why Candiace, in my opinion, I think that Candiace is upset, one, because they're lying on her husband. She's expecting Robyn to treat her like Robyn treats Gizelle. She was expecting Gizelle to treat her like Gizelle treats Robyn. You know how when Gizelle sat at that table when Karen basically put Juan on blast and said that Juan was down in Georgetown walking around with some blonde-haired woman, and the only two that said they had heard these rumors, you know, from the blogs basically, was Wendy said she had heard the rumors before. Just because you hear a rumor doesn't mean that it's true, right? But they were just acknowledging that, girl, I have heard the people all saying, girl, the streets are saying that your man is out here in these streets, right? Girl, Candiace said, yeah, I've also heard the rumors too. Gizelle says, I haven't heard that. Now, let me tell you something. Whether or not, you know, Karen got the woman wrong, Gizelle knew damn well what the hell Karen was talking about. But she still sat there and pretended as if she didn't know what Karen was talking about. If I say, I know your ass walking around the Galleria Mall with some woman, and girl, you actually not the Galleria Mall, girl, you was walking around, girl, you know, the airport, girl, at the end of the day, girl, you knew I was talking about you cheating on, you knew I was talking about somebody cheating on somebody. You see what I'm saying? And I think that with Candiace, the same way Gizelle sat there and lied and didn't, you know, tried to pretend this as if she didn't know, Candiace expects that friendship from Gizelle. She expects that friendship from Robyn. But girl, they're not your friends. That's why Gizelle has no problem throwing your husband under the bus. She would never do that to Juan. We've seen it. That's why Robyn has no problem at the reunion saying, can we just agree that a married man shouldn't be in a room with a single woman, because Robyn don't really F with you like that. Even with Candiace coming onto the show and wearing Robyn's hats, Robyn still does not F with you like that. Robyn says that she was in her feelings about how Candiace was treating her. How was Candiace treating you? They must have edited that out, because I didn't see anything that Candiace had done to Robyn that would make Robyn feel as though Candiace has mistreated me. Was I? Girl, Candiace, They're not your friends. They never were your friends. They don't fool with you like that. The only person that probably will give you some bit of loyalty is Wendy. Everybody else on that stage don't fool with you. I'm tired of having this conversation with you, girl. I'm tired. I'm tired. And girl, this is a nice way of me putting it. Because I really want to call you dumb, but I'm not going to call you dumb because the only one that, because you're not dumb. You act slow sometimes. Like you don't know no better. Anyway, child, I still love you, bro. Okay. Anyways, she says you get upset because things are done on camera. When we're filming, everything we do should happen on camera. That's what Robyn tells Candiace. Again, I don't think that it's Candiace not wanting things to be brought up on camera. I think that because Candiace considers him a friend, maybe she would like a heads up. Now, I don't think that she would have been down for y'all trying to assassinate her husband's character, right? But I think that she would appreciate like a heads up. There is a way that you can bring something to the camera and have a discussion. Let me say something, baby. We know how reality TV works, and girl, this is not the first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Girl, we are so many seasons removed from the first season of whatever reality TV show. We know how this works. So, say for example, Gizelle had a conversation with Candiace within that 6-month span before she brought it to the show about, girl, I just want to talk to you because, Chris kind of made me feel uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah. That's one conversation off of camera, right? And then if Gizelle wanted to be a messy girl, when Ashley brought up what she brought up about Chris sliding in her DMs, Gizelle, because she has no loyalty to Candiace, could have said, girl, you know what's so crazy? I had a conversation with Candiace and I was telling her about how he made me feel uncomfortable at the reunion. Now, again, I don't think Candiace would have went down for it because, again, at this point, you're trying to assassinate her husband's character, right? And label him as a P. But that would have been a way that Gizelle could have went about it. But, girl, it does look crazy that clearly you and Candiace had some type of friendship if you're supporting her outside of the show and you didn't bring this up at all. And now all of a sudden, girl, when the cameras go rolling, girl, now it's this big issue. And you all over the place about what he did. He's a sneaky link. He was trying to see if I was down. He didn't say anything inappropriate. He didn't do anything inappropriate. Girl, it's just a mess. So we know that Gizelle was telling a bold-faced lie. They show a flash after Robyn said what she said 2 weeks later. Robyn about to get fired. I would be surprised if, I'm going to just say this. I will be surprised if Robyn came back next season. I would. I would be surprised if Robyn came back. Y'all think they are wrapping this up? They are wrapping the Robyn Dixon story up, putting a bow on it, and girl, you can go. I hope that Reasonably Shady podcast is bringing in money like that. I hope that Patreon is bringing in money like that because, girl, you're going to need it. They have a conversation about Wendy, about Robyn being the most loyal. Did you hear Wendy starts to call out Candiace, basically saying the girl you saying that Robyn is the most loyal, but girl, she put you on blast. This is what loyal is. Robyn is like, we don't have to argue about friends, blah 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 blah. But just like, did you hear when Wendy said in the back, girl? But this is how friends communicate. I said, no, that's right. You know what I do want, y'all? I want more. You know what I think they should do? I think they should do a special, like behind the scenes at the reunion, because I feel like that's what some of the TV getting spilled too. Yeah. I want them to do a behind the scenes, just not necessarily for Potomac, Atlanta, because like when the husbands came and then they were all walking through the hallways and stuff. I feel like that's what some of the tea. Girl, we saw on Married to Madison, girl. The girls still be bucking, girl. Um, when they're not even on stage. Anyways, let's move on. Gizelle's package. I've said that what I wanted for season 8, because I know Gizelle not going nowhere, is this is what I said, remember? I want Gizelle to start to be a little bit more vulnerable. I want them to focus on Gizelle and her kids because those kids are Gizelle's soft spot. I said this. Um, okay, before we get into that, Karen. I put Karen needs to be studied. That's exactly what I put. Karen needs to be studied. Karen be lying. And you know what the gag is? Like, the gag is everybody who has watched the show knows that Karen is a liar. But for whatever reason, like her fans, like her stands, like the Ladams, they either act y'all act like y'all don't hear it, girl, and y'all keep it moving. Karen literally sat on the show and said that her inspiration was Wendy Williams. Then when she got to the reunion, she said her inspiration was Carol Burnett. Girl, I'm trying to figure out. Girl, is it Auntie Wendy, girl? Is it Auntie Wendy or is it Carol? This is what Karen did. And I understand it to a certain degree. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't. Karen, she studies. All the girls study. And what I mean by that is they probably go over potential questions that are going to be asked, right? Well, girl, if they ask me this, I'm going to have to say this. If they ask me this, I'm going to say this. If they ask me this, I'm going to say this. I get it. It's an interview. So you're not going to just sit there and just be like, girl, unless you're Gizelle, because Gizelle don't care, But they prep, basically. That's what I feel. I don't even think that Karen knew that she was basically doing a variety show. I think that once Candiace said it and she saw it on the show, that's when she realized that, oh, I am doing a variety show. I don't think Karen knew. I don't think Karen knows who Carol Burnett is. I don't. I think that she had that answer ready and she forgot that she said Wendy Williams. You see how fast she dismissed some conversation? Oh, Andy, you're just being shady. I have you a ticket for the show. Like, it's almost in a way. It's all, I was about to say genius, but Karen is not no genius. But it's almost in a way, for a lack of a better word, genius, the way that Karen can maneuver and get out of bullshit. It's so crazy. And she'll lie like. But I think it's more, I also want to study like Karen and her fans. Some of y'all, no tea, no shade. Because either y'all just really don't hear it, or y'all ignoring too, or you're just ignoring it. Gizelle. The only thing I got, I'm sorry, one of the things I got from Gizelle when Andy started asking her about um, her health was when she said, we'll talk about it later. I put, they protect her. Girl, how are we at the reunion and you tell your boss, we'll talk about it later? That should let y'all know right there that Gizelle has went 7 years and not had to give shit. Yes, she came onto the show and let us know that Jamal Bryant was throwing dick around the church. Yes, she let us know that Jamal had his infidelities, okay? But outside of that, what do we really know about Gizelle? Not about Gizelle and her marriage that ran its course because she married Community Dick. What do we really know about Gizelle? They have allowed Gizelle to go 7 seasons. That's a 7 years, 7 seasons. Without really exposing anything about her. And in a way, in Gizelle's defense, I'm not mad at her. Because if you have a boss that is willing to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars each season, and you ain't got to tell none of your business, but just keep up some mess. That's what Heavenly does at Married to Medicine, but at least Heavenly is good at keeping up mess. Right? Gizelle isn't. So if y'all gonna pay her, and she ain't gotta tell none of her business. But see, I used to feel that way about Marlo, right? I felt like Marlo had the best position. Like out of everybody on reality TV, I used to always feel like if I was on reality TV, I wouldn't want my position to be like in Marlo, like that of Marlo's. Like before Marlo became a housewife, I felt like Marlo, from what I understand, Marlo got paid a decent amount. It wasn't in the millions like the other girls, but I remember reading somewhere, again, I don't know if it's true or not, that she was getting paid like $600,000. Even if she was getting paid less than that, Marlo was still getting paid to be on the show. She still had the same exposure as the other girls. She still was able to host her events. Now, even though Kenya came in talking about Kenya, more hair care, she still was able to host her events. Still able to go on group trips out of the country, girl, in Atlanta, right? And she didn't have to tell none of her business. That's why I was like, girl, if I was on reality TV, girl, I would want to be like Marlo, girl. I ain't got to tell none of my business. Girl, and I still get to come around, kick up some shit, and start some shit and leave. That was Marlo's whole thing. I could do that. I could be Miss. I could come around, start some shit and leave. And still get paid. And still get to promote my businesses. And I ain't got to tell my personal business. Oh, girl. Sign me up, girl. Okay? But I just feel like they protect Gizelle. They really, really do. Gizelle says, she talks about the surgery. She said it was a horrible mess, basically. And that her sister, I said, no, what? I said, you talking about AKA sister? Ski! You talking about that sister? Gizelle got a sister? Yeah. I said, now wait a minute. Girl, I said, now, okay. I did not watch the second season of Real Housewives of Potomac because the first season was a hot ass mess. And I thought they was all fake. And so I was like, girl, this is not the show for me. So maybe Gizelle let this be known the second season that she had a sister. I don't know, girl. Maybe I was scratching my ass. Maybe I was on Jacked looking for somebody. Girl, I don't know. Girl. I don't know what I was like. Girl, all I'm saying is, girl, I don't remember Gizelle ever talking about a sister. So the only thing I could come up with was maybe she was talking about her line sister. She was basically saying that she was in contact with her line sister during her surgery. Wait, I'm sorry. Her sister was in contact with her kids during her surgery, like every hour to let, I think, the kids know, basically giving the kids updates. And at one point the update stopped. So the kids were completely freaked out and terrified. Gizelle told her kids that she would be returning home the same day, but she ended up spending the night in the hospital. So again, like the kids were like a complete mess. Can I say something? I'm about to sound real mean. I saw a couple of people online saying that, it's not Andy's business to tell her, because Andy told her, no, we're going to talk about it. Andy can tell Gizelle, you're going to open your goddamn mouth and talk about it. You know why? Because Andy is paying Gizelle on a reality TV show to tell her reality. So as sensitive as it may be, if Gizelle feels as though that's something that she doesn't want to discuss, then she needs to get her ass off reality TV and go back to being a private citizen. I don't think that's hard to understand. If you don't want to tell your business, don't get your ass down to the reality TV. If Dr. Contessa can get on TV and talk about removing both of her breasts to decrease her chances in having cancer, if Kimmy from Love and Marriage Huntsville can get on TV and go through her journey with breast cancer, and Kimmy said that at one point she thought about leaving the show to deal with her situation, then God damn it, Gizelle can get her black ass on TV and talk about a hysterectomy. And if she can't, get your ass off TV. I don't feel any type of way about Gizelle and her story. Because the truth of the matter is, Gizelle chose not to tell her story. Gizelle discussed this situation 3 minutes at the end of this season in a car ride on the phone with Robyn. It's not editing. Girl, I want Gizelle to say, I have went to the doctor's office plenty of times this season. I started out this season at the doctor's office and they chose not to show it. If Gizelle would have said something like that, I would be like, well, girl, maybe so. Gizelle, that's not the case. That's not the case. This should have been your storyline for season 7. How the hell we find out? Gizelle said that she's been dealing with this issue for 3 years. How the hell you been on a reality TV show for 7 seasons? You've been going through this issue for 3 years, and we just found out 7th season, episode 14. I forgot the episode, but it was late in the season. So when Candiace says, girl, you should have been using this as a storyline, and she was absolutely correct. But she was too busy out here lying on people so that therefore she wouldn't have to expose her own business. Gizelle doesn't share. My lips ash. My lips getting chapped. Hold up, y'all. Gizelle doesn't share. And she does have an expectation for other people to tell their business. Gizelle says, I'm not sitting with people who don't like me telling my business. See, that's the problem. And so, again, this is because y'all help us don't like each other. That's very clear. The majority of y'all don't like each other. You don't have to, girl, you don't have to sit with Candiace and tell your business. You don't have to sit with Wendy and tell your business. Why can't you sit down with your good girlfriend Robyn and be vulnerable with your good girlfriend Robyn or Ashley? Right? You can get your reality out. You can tell your business without having to tell your business around the group of people who you dislike. Nobody's expecting you to sit down in front of Wendy and tell your business, and we know you don't like her. But we do expect you to sit down and tell your business with your best friend. Damn, is that too much? I don't think that's too much to ask for. I think that's a realistic expectation. Just like it would have been a realistic expectation for Robyn to sit down with Gizelle and tell her business. They start to say that, well, Candiace was the one who said that Gizelle is a bully. She bullies people into telling her business. Mia, here go Mia. Yeah, you're the one who said that, is this what cancer looks like? Mia, shut up. Because you done had plenty of times to get Gizelle together, but for whatever reason, girl, I don't know if I want Mia back. I don't. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I know she probably coming back. If they bring Jackie back, they definitely bringing Mia back. But girl, like she do too much. I say anyways. So Mia says Wendy kept saying things. They start talking about Wendy and Mia. This is the problem. The problem is this with Wendy and Mia. And I think this goes for a lot of the girls and boys in reality TV. But just talking about Wendy and Mia. You have a situation where Wendy was violated twice. And Wendy probably knew after that situation happened that they are trying to ice me out and stop this good old Real Housewives of Potomac check from coming in. So Wendy probably felt like, and she said it, I did that. I had that conversation with you in Mexico so we could move forward as a group, right? So now the situation happens in real time. Then Wendy has to now watch this play out on TV and hear the things that Mia said. And also, you have to take into account that, girl, they're listening to YouTubers and their opinions, and they're on Twitter and hearing folks' opinions, right? So now we're a year removed from the incident, and Mia, a year from the time that this has happened, has still not managed to accept any accountability in the situation. Like, girl, you really are at this reunion pretty much blaming Wendy when you were the one who was acting a complete fool. Mia was acting such a goddamn donkey, the girl was bleeding. That's how much of a fool Mia was acting. Mia is trying to act like she responded to Wendy talking about her husband first. No. Your husband and you came up in response to you throwing a drink at Wendy by you trying to sling your Louis Vuitton at Wendy. Girl, like, why are you trying to switch up the way that it happened? So Wendy is upset. Girl, I'm not gonna lie. So Mia tries to change the course of the conversation and just starts to lie. I think I want Mia off my TV screen. Mia, you lie too much. You are a bona fide liar. You're dangerous because you just say any goddamn thing. You just say any goddamn thing. Don't nobody but girl, she was like, you gave Peter the cookie. Basically saying that Wendy went and had had dinner with Peter, and Wendy was like, I did. This, I guess, was before the show. You had dinner with Peter, and basically trying to say that Wendy effed Peter, I guess, at the restaurant. She saw the videotape. Girl, when Andy had those note cards, when Mia was saying those lies, and Andy had his note card, he was like this. What else y'all say? I said, look at this messy queen. He love this mess, girl. Robyn. But yeah, Mia's telling a lie. Just lying, girl. Robyn. Robyn says that I don't know how I will react. Can we just stop playing this game, y'all? Just like Andy said. Well, girl, we saw the umbrella situation. Let me just go ahead and get Robyn and Gizelle out the way. Let me just say this. Robyn and Gizelle, and no tea, no shade, the people who think like Robyn and Gizelle, this is why this is a problem. Robyn and Gizelle have come to the conclusion that because they don't like Wendy, that they can't be honest about a situation. Robyn doesn't like Wendy, so because I don't like Wendy, I'm not going to be honest. That's what Robyn is saying. Gizelle said the same thing. I don't like her. Can I say something? Don't you think it's comical that girl Andy gave this whole speech at the beginning of the reunion, basically saying they try not to sit people beside each other that have conflict, and you literally had Gizelle pointing her finger at Wendy, saying that I don't like her, and then of course in response, Wendy points her finger back at Gizelle saying I don't like you either. But girl, I thought y'all said y'all try not to sit people beside each other that don't have conflict. Okay, girl, whatever. Y'all just be lying, girl. What it is, girl, and I saw this on Twitter. Who was tweeting this? I forgot who it was, but I saw it on Twitter. Somebody said that they think that the reason why they did it that way is because they didn't want Candiace and Wendy on the same couch, because then of course people will really start talking about the colorism issue. So they had to break up the two dark skinned girls pretty much. Sit one on this side, sit one on this side. Because and now I think about it, girl, that might be real true tea. Listen, just because you don't like someone, that should have nothing to do with how you operate and move as a person. Let me give you a few examples. There's a show called Love and Marriage Huntsville. One of the characters on the show, her name is Melody Cherie. I don't too much care for Melody. I think her personality is horrible. Okay? With that being said, just because I don't too much care for her, that does not mean that I'm going to get on here in my reviews and just start saying stuff because I don't too much care for her. You see what I'm saying? I was still, when I felt like Melody was done wrong, I still said she was being done wrong. Y'all know I can't stand Michael Darby. Okay? It ain't a secret. But I'm not going to get on here and say, oh, girl, Ashley, when all that mess was going on with Ashley, I was literally down here to the World Wide Web saying, y'all know I don't too much care for Michael, but girl, I don't think Michael is no fool when it comes to his money. And see, the point is, just because you don't dislike someone, that should not waver your opinion. And when it does, that makes you a liar, and that makes you dishonest. And that means that your integrity, morals, and beliefs are up for grabs, all because you don't like someone. Robyn would rather sit at a table and tell the person who has been assaulted that they are the antagonist. Do you know how crazy that sounds? Mia was literally bleeding because she was doing so much. But somehow Robyn had decided to flip the table and say that Wendy was wrong and that she was antagonizing Mia. Now, yes, did it have some truth to it? Girl, you don't want to fight on camera. If you're going to whoop the hoe when the cameras go down. Okay, I can get with that, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that, Robyn, you're full of shit. You literally tried to place the blame on Wendy as if Wendy had did something wrong to Mia. Baby, after you throw a drink at me, after you try and hit me with your purse, girl, I'm going to go and say what I want to say. And if I be going out for 3 hours after the incident, then bitch, I go out for 3 hours after the incident. I can say what I want to say. Girl, you just do. Girl, I don't know if y'all know, and it ain't never happened to me, and it better not ever happen to me. Girl, do you know what happens when alcohol gets into your eyes? Your whole eyeballs. So I don't think the drink hit Wendy's face, but just imagine if that martini with alcohol in it would have gotten into Wendy's eyes. Shit probably would have been burning for a couple of minutes. I just think that people need to, and I've said this for years, my opinion does not change just because I don't like you. Now, my delivery might change, right? So, if I like you, am I going to say something as harsh as I probably would if I was talking about somebody who I didn't like? Probably not. But girl, the opinion is still going to be the same. The delivery might change. So even with this whole violence situation, if you are taking a stance against violence, then it's across the board. It doesn't matter who's involved. It don't matter if it's Wendy on the other end. It don't matter because your stance is your stance. Your belief is your belief. And if Robyn, I would have even been better if Robyn wouldn't have said anything to Wendy. And then went after Mia. Like, look, I didn't want to say nothing when that heifer was here because you know I don't rock with her like that. But girl, you was dead ass wrong for doing all that. You see what I'm saying? She could have just not even said anything to Wendy and just, when Wendy left, went in on Mia. Girl, when Wendy called Mia dumb, with dumbass Mia, y'all heard Gizelle talking about that's not nice. That's not nice. You talking about it's not nice to the lady who just got embarrassed on national TV, cable television, right? Where anybody can access this show around the world. Girl, they can literally log on to www.bravo.tv.com and watch this show anywhere if they have internet access. You telling this lady that her telling the lady who, girl, threw a drink in her direction, tried to hit her with a purse, that's not nice to call her dumb. You know, that's what I be talking about. She said, Robyn says, I'm not justifying what Mia did, but I understand her frustrations. You're justifying what she did. Because how can you understand her frustrations? Because you have to, girl, where are we starting at? Are we starting at, and this is the thing. We know they know what happened because they were there. And we know they were at that restaurant for a few hours. But we also know that Mia was dead wrong because y'all still haven't. Because if Wendy had did something out of line, they would have said, no, that's not what happened. But nobody has said that. So the only thing I can come to is, girl, what we saw on TV is pretty much how it went down. Wendy didn't do anything. And you are trying to justify Mia's actions by talking about understanding her frustrations. How? How, Sway? How? How do you understand her frustrations, Robyn? Robyn says, Karen says that they were gaslighting. They try to Andy tried to tell Karen that Karen was wrong. Karen was actually right. Let me read y'all something. They definitely were trying to gaslight Mia in that Wendy in that situation. Gaslight is a verb. Here we go. Gaslighting manipulates someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. It also says, what is an example of gaslighting? Gaslighting happens when an abuser tries to control a victim by twisting their sense of reality. An example of gaslighting would be a partner doing something abusive and then denying it happened. Gaslighting can occur in romantic, platonic, and family relationships or even at work. Okay. So yes, they were definitely trying to gaslight Wendy by trying to make it seem as though what was happening in that situation, what was happening in that moment, wasn't really happening. And that she was actually the problem and not Mia. Oh, it was gaslighting one-on-one. And they were also pouring gasoline on the fire when you had Robyn doing all of this. I gotta get this on tape just in case somebody tried to lie. This woman was just violated, and you got a phone in her face telling her that she was in the wrong. They talk about Robyn being held back by Charisse. You know what I come to realize with Robyn and Gizelle and like the Nene leaks too? They will never say when they're wrong. They are going to stand. One thing about it, two things for sure, three things for certain. They are going to stand deep in their wrongdoings. Robyn being held back by Charisse. This is what Robyn is trying to do. Robyn is trying to twist it into, I didn't need to be held back by Charisse. Girl, if you are in an argument with someone, and not even when you are in an argument with someone, the last thing that you should be doing is walking into their direction. Period. Full stop. So for Robyn to try and twist this to, I didn't need to be held back. Girl, regardless if you feel as though I didn't need to be held back, you at your big ass age, know that girl, when in conflict, stay your ass on the other side of the room. Because if you start walking up to somebody like Andy said, if you got up right now, I'm going to get up because, girl, what's tea? Because somebody about to get popped. Okay? Again, Robyn is a liar. Robyn says, well, she had told me to stand up 28 times, so I stood. That's even more of a reason why you needed to be held back, because if you're already in this, girl, my stomach growling, y'all, I'm hungry. If you are in this argument with this person and it's heated and she's told you 28 times to stand up and then you finally stand up and start walking in her direction, yes, you need to be held back. Anyways, Ashley. Okay, listen. I want y'all to understand me because I think some of y'all gonna purposely misunderstand me. Ashley flip-flopped her stance on violence. She kind of did. Now, to Gizelle's point, there is a big difference in what happened to Candiace in season 5. Like, there is a difference between getting your ass beat and getting a drink thrown in your direction, right? I think we can all agree that, girl, one situation was worse than the other. Okay? However, if your stance is no violence, right? Do y'all remember? And that's another thing. Do y'all remember the stuff that Gizelle was saying season 5? Gizelle and Robyn, I believe. Just like Ashley was saying, they were saying that she was a poor representation for black women. And I think they even brought her daughter into the conversation about like her being an example for her daughter. Like they really, now I'm not saying that Monique didn't deserve some of the stuff they were saying, but they really went there with Monique. So now all of a sudden, fast forward 2 seasons, girl, your homegirl is acting a complete fool. What happened to the stance of, oh, girl, this is a poor representation for black women? Girl. What happened to, girl, your daughter is going to see this? But again, that's what happens when you choose not to operate and have a moral compass, right? Because your opinion changes all because you dislike someone. But Ashley flip-flop, and I'll tell you why. While yes, I commend Ashley for going to check on Wendy and coming to Wendy's aid the night that Wendy was violated in Miami, Ashley makes it seem as though, like, you didn't hold Mia's feet to the fire either. Like, I don't remember, I could be wrong. Like, I don't remember Ashley ever really going there with Mia. Yes, she said, girl, if somebody threw a drink in my face, it's going to be on. But I don't ever remember Ashley holding Mia's feet to the fire. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, the reason why she did what she did in season 5 is because really she didn't like Candiace. Whatever, cool. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that, girl, you have this woman who was doing a lot. Mia was doing a lot that night. And I don't ever really remember anybody holding her feet to the fire. Yes, when they were trying to ice Wendy out, thank God Ashley, made sure that it didn't happen. But even in that situation, Ashley still didn't use her voice to call out everybody. Like, all y'all is effed up. Mia, you definitely wrong. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that's holding somebody's feet to the fire to me. That's just me, though. I put Gizelle as a hypocrite because she doesn't like Wendy. Wendy cries. I felt bad for Wendy. Like, I didn't feel bad for Gizelle, sorry. I just didn't. I didn't feel bad for Gizelle when she, got, a little, vulnerable when she was talking about herself. I felt bad for Wendy because, again, here we are in the situation where I was violated twice on television, and the way that y'all handled this situation in this group it was whack. Was whack. Was whack. It was absolutely whack. Gizelle says, I thought y'all were trying to kiss. Again, here we go. I think I said this earlier. Girl, I've been talking too much. Girl, this review is getting too goddamn long. I knew it was going to be long, though. I think what happens is, girl, they watch the show. They go through the experience. They watch the show, and now they have to deal with it, at the reunion. While I questioned Wendy, too, y'all know I did. Like, girl, I thought she forgave Mia too fast. But some of you were telling me that Wendy just really wanted to, basically, like, girl, we got to keep on pushing. Like, I guess, girl. That's what I said, girl. Girl, when you got a couple extra $100,000 coming in to shoot a show, girl, I guess, girl, you never know what you do. Oh, Wendy cries and she basically says that, girl, it took everything out of me not to beat the shit out of you. It's not that I couldn't have. It's just that, me as a person, right? And because Wendy already knows that she has a lot. Girl, the Johns Hopkins professor cannot be down to the TV fighting, right? The political commentator that be on Fox News and MSNBC and all these other stations, girl, cannot be down to the show fighting, right? She has to show some type of restraint. Mia ain't got shit to lose. Mia literally over there, girl, barely got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. So yes, while it is a little, I can see why people call Wendy out because I was one of them. Like, girl, you forgave her too much. I can also understand Wendy getting upset now because, like, girl, I'm upset now again. It would have been different if Mia had came to the reunion and was like, listen. After a little self-reflection, after me watching this shit play out, I really want to apologize. That's not what Mia was on. Mia was on some, girl, you don't like me, I don't care, girl, you was effing Peter, blah, blah, blah. So I can see why Wendy was like, girl, I don't F with you, I ain't gonna never F with you. Because now, girl, you still not taking accountability for what you did. Girl, I gotta go pee. Because, girl, I know this is a part where I'm about to get into, gonna last me a couple of minutes, and I need to, girl, I'll be right. I've literally been sitting here holding in that pee for like the last hour. And I was like, okay, girl, we about to talk about this colorism mess. I'm not gonna be able to make it through this. All right, so let's talk about it. First thing I want to say is this. I think they should have had a moderator. I heard that someone said online that Candiace said that she actually voted to have a moderator, but most of the group said no, so they said no. This is what I think. I think they should have had a moderator. I think that it should have been a woman. And just listen to me. I think it should have been a lighter skinned woman like an Angela Rye. Because one thing I have noticed about people who are trying to dismiss the claims of colorism on the show, when it is even a lighter skinned person who is acknowledging that it happens. I'm talking about like the viewers, right? People still try and say, oh, girl, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And then when it's a darker skinned viewer, right? People try to say, oh, you're just being sensitive. So I think that it would have been a good idea if they would have had like a lighter skinned woman. So then they couldn't really say, girl, it's because you're dark skinned and sensitive. And then when you have somebody as smart as Angela Rye, girl, you see what I'm saying? That's what I just think. I want to say this. Everything is not colorism. Sometimes you just don't like a bitch. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. I just don't like the heifer. I just don't like the nigga. Period. Right? Candiace reads the definition of colorism. I love the fact that Candiace was kind of like the leader of this conversation. Gizelle could never. Robyn could never. Like they don't have the range. Like that's why I'm saying like you need somebody like an Angela Rye who has the range to discuss colorism because they don't have it. All right. So Candiace reads the definition of colorism. And I just want to say this. Girl, y'all do know that there's no such thing as reverse colorism. So I think that before we even get into the conversation, one, there's no such thing as reverse colorism, and then two, girl, y'all really need to read the definition of colorism. Okay. I think Gizelle is a mess. I think her facial expressions were a mess. I think that it's absolutely sad that you have Gizelle, you have someone like Portia Williams, who both come from civil rights family, right? Families. And you have someone like Gizelle literally sitting on stage trying to deflect and concentrate on the word. What do you mean? What is emotion? Like you're saying emotional, like explain to me. Gizelle, why is Gizelle one of the oldest women on stage, come from a civil rights family, and we have to explain to you? Girl, I said, Let me just say this. Out of everybody on the stage, I think the two biggest colorists is Karen. Yep, your homegirl Karen, and definitely Gizelle. Ashley got some ways too. Okay? But number one, Karen, Gizelle. Okay? Number one and number two, Karen, Gizelle. I think what the problem is for whatever reason, whenever conversations about colorism come up, black people swear up and down. Not all of us, of course, but there are a group of people out there who just don't want to accept that it is happening on this show. Ashley says that she doesn't think, like I guess she was speaking from, she doesn't believe that she, I guess, is a colorist because she's gotten into altercations with everybody on the show, which I would also say this. That's also part of the problem. Just listen to me. I have been saying this for the longest. Ashley has been the most problematic on the show. Ashley has talked about Monique having a miscarriage due to her alcohol intake. She let us know that Monique, drove her car off the road because she was drunk. She has attacked Katie's mental health. She has talked about Ray's penis, But yet and still, the person who y'all say, even though Ashley has said, I have had conflict with everybody on the show, y'all still say that Candiace's mouth is worse than everybody's on the show, which is just not true. It's just not true. And the times that Candiace has gotten in conflict with someone, it was retaliation. Once they found out that Candiace came from generational wealth and she didn't have to sleep with a man in order to have some type of financial security, they have been on Candiace's ass in season 3. So out of that, that's why Candiace will get into these back and forths with some of the women. Because of their disrespect and the things that they were saying to her, not the other way around. And even with that being said, she ain't never attacked nobody's mental health. She ain't never talked about nobody's penis except her husband's brown penis. Maybe so, I can't remember, child. So that's one example, right? You have Robyn, who has went and walked up to Monique's and got into her space. Went to Ashley's restaurant. Not Ashley's restaurant, Ashley's place of business, a place that she owned, and put her finger in her face, right? You have Robyn this season, who had to be stopped by one of her co-workers from walking across a room, right? And it wasn't until this season that people started to even get close to having the conversation about Robyn and her aggressive ass behavior. Ashley. And that's the thing, sometimes I don't think we realize that we say some things and do some things, but it's there. Ashley calls Wendy aggressive and ferocious when they got into it. Ashley was at one end of the table on the opposite side, Wendy at the other end of the table on the opposite side. And she's referring to Wendy as aggressive and ferocious. But yet and still, Robyn comes to your restaurant and does like this. And you didn't say that about her. Mia. Mia came onto the scene hollering and screaming that I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss. And the people know. I don't ever remember y'all getting online talking about, oh, she needs to shut up. We don't need to hear about her being no boss. Wendy, who gets on TV and should be screaming from the fucking mountaintops that she has 4 degrees. Y'all were so disgusted. Now, don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, in this situation, do those 4 degrees really matter? No, because it's not like y'all all on the same show, blah, 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 blah. But it still doesn't take away that that's something that woman should be proud of. Bitch, some of us ain't even got 1, 2, or 3 degrees, and this heifer got 4. And then you have Karen talking about she's not impressed. You're not impressed by Dr. Wendy Osefo? With 4 degrees, a political commentator, husband, 3 kids, professor at Johns Hopkins, the youngest professor at Johns Hopkins. Like, girl, well, what are you impressed by? Every hue beauty? So then you have Mia screaming she's a boss. Wendy says that she is, she talks about her 4 degrees. Y'all, girl, we don't want to hear about them 4 degrees. But Mia can scream up and down that she's a boss. I remember an instance when the whole wine tossing thing happened. Everybody was online talking about it was Candiace. Baby, the way y'all was dragging Candiace wasn't even in Miami. Once people found out that it actually wasn't Candiace, that it was Mia who threw a drink at Wendy, bitch, everything stopped. The problem is this. I do believe that the cast is colorist. I also believe part of the problem is the viewers are definitely colorist. And even if the cast wants to sit here and say that they're not, you become part of the problem when you refuse to call out the fuck shit and acknowledge that there is an issue. You become part of the issue at that point. So yes, There's some colorism on this show. No matter how you slice it and dice it. Y'all pin Wendy and Candiace to the fucking cross. But when it comes to the other ladies, it's crickets. Karen has been problematic since season 1. The only way that they are going to realize, I'm about to go ahead and say it, they should have made this conversation a little bit more personable. Because the truth of the matter is, this is not me talking about the kids, but this is the truth of the matter. Mia's daughter, Gizelle's daughters are closer to my skin color than they are to their goddamn mammies, okay? And if y'all don't understand colorism, bitch, I hope y'all don't have to understand it when y'all daughters come home telling you their experiences. I think Gizelle is whack. Gizelle, like, girl, not civil rights family Gizelle, girl, getting on TV talking about, girl, acting like you don't know what colorism is, girl. Gizelle and Karen, the oldest ones on the show, they know what colorism is. You benefit from it. That's part of the reason why Ray yanked you from that forum, because you fit into what they felt was... Okay, let me shut up. It takes a conscious effort. Ashley says, how do we know that it could be her personality? I think that's what people try to reduce it down to. Oh, I just don't like Candiace's personality. I just don't like this personality. Yeah, like I said, sometimes you just don't like people, but no, sweetie. The way that y'all, and if you is a part of y'all, then girl, so be it. But the way that y'all treated Candiace in the past, like, y'all would have sworn up and down that lady stole your last $20 and ran off with your baby and your man. My man, my man, my man, my man. I never understood the hate that woman got. It was to the point where I used to get sad, like, damn. Like, I used to be like, I hope this bitch all right, because, like, girl, this girl is going through it. Like, girl, y'all used to really wear Candiace out online. Like, wear her out. And you can't sit here and say the shit that I'm saying is not the truth. Because I just spit to y'all 100% facts, baby. I watched the show, except for season 2. So these things have happened. Y'all really need to sit back and really think about why your reaction, it always seems to be bigger and badder and bolder when it's a dark-skinned housewives versus the lighter-skinned ones. And then y'all sit here and try to we call Gizelle and Robyn mean girls, girl. Or y'all might call them mean girls. Y'all have girl literally got online and wished death on Candiace and hope that someone comes and bashes her skull in. That's the extreme that you go to. Like, there's a difference between wishing somebody get their skull bashed in and calling them a mean girl. Jackie and Mia. Jackie comes out. Mia says, I think that both of us could have done better. Jackie says, both of us. Yes, both of y'all, girl. I'm sorry. I don't know why some of y'all, like, I'm not buying into the Jackie is innocent. Jackie, girl, let me tell you something. One thing about it, 2 things for sure, 3 things for certain. You ain't just hopped on reality TV. You ain't just hopped on Real Housewives of Potomac without signing some paperwork. Jackie done took her ass down to Potomac, signed some paperwork, okay, went to the Bravo HR, signed some paperwork, got mic'd up, was in on the scam. She didn't like how she was probably looking throughout the middle of the season because she started thinking about, girl, I look like a fool. You were in on it too. You were in on it too. I don't know what y'all been watching. Jackie was in on it too. This is another example, right? Mia get on my goddamn nerves. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I ain't seen Jackie on my TV screen, sometimes messing with Mia, starting the argument. And also, girl, Jackie's hands are not clean. This is a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit. I really think that in the middle of the season when Jackie was filming, that she started to think about like, I don't like how this is going. I'm starting to look like the hoe that sleep with Mia and her husband. I do believe though that Mia did treat Jackie like a peasant. I do. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Again, I said this stuff in my review. Girl, y'all see, this is the thing with me, girl. No tea, no shade, girl. I think the reason why my reviews be so great is because I actually review the show. Girl. And I review what the hell is on my TV screen. Regardless if the person get on my nerves or not, regardless if I might like the person or not, girl, I review what's on my TV screen. It's been plenty of times, y'all know I can't stand Marceau and them down there in Huntsville, but it's been plenty of times I get my ass on this thing, well, a couple of times, not plenty of times, and said, girl, Marceau and them was actually telling the truth. Because I'm looking at the show, right? I'm looking at this show, and I did realize from the get-go, like when they were in Miami, that I was like, girl, I don't like the way that Jackie is. I mean, that Mia is like treating Jackie like she acting like Mia is some ghetto ass hoe who don't have tampons, deodorant, toothpaste, girl, floss, nothing. When she went out and was talking about Jackie to Ashley and Gizelle, I was like, ooh, girl, like Mia kind of whack for that, So she did treat Mia like she was like a peasant. And I believe that has to do with Mia's background. Mia came from nothing. Mia had to literally fuck her way to the top. And that's no tea, no shade. Girl, get it how you live. But that's part of the reason why Mia came into last season to, I'm a boss, because Mia ain't used to having shit. And she was intimidated being around these group of women. Mia know how she got to where she got. It wasn't through generational wealth, and it wasn't through hard work. Well, it was through hard work. So I think that Mia didn't do Jackie right. She didn't. But with that being said, Jackie was in on the shit too. Like I'm sorry, I'm looking at Mia and Jackie both crazy. Mia is a mess. Mia might be the bigger mess. I'm not gonna lie. Mia might be. Mia is the bigger mess. But what I'm saying is, we're not gonna sit here and act like Jackie ain't know what was going on. Girl, Mia said that Jackie was on food stamps. Girl, Jackie, if you on food stamps, girl, can I buy some? Because, girl, I'm serving groceries now. Girl, I fell off the wagon, girl. I'm trying to start back. I'm trying to start this diet thing, girl. It's just not working out in my favor. But, girl, we're going to try to start over. But, girl, Jackie, girl, stuff is high, girl. Jackie, I got $150 for $300. Let's say you on food stamps. Can I say something, girl? Can I say something? If Jackie is on food stamps, I don't want her on the show. I know that sounds so classist and wrong. I used to be on food stamps, okay? I was on food stamps for a couple of years. All I'm saying is, girl, if we are going to have a show, I hate to be this person, girl, this it wouldn't even be a conversation about some woman being on food stamps up in Beverly Hills or down to the Real Housewives in Miami. If Jackie on food stamps, she can't be on the show. Girl, you don't even qualify. Girl. Now I'm not saying this is what the show is about, but the show is about, it's supposed to be about, highfalutin women running around town who got a little bit of coin. Girl, you can't be walking around here with no Chanel bag and an EBT card. I mean, you can in the real world because the girls do it all the time. But girl, this is a TV show. Anyways, girl, is that it? So, girl, they got their papers printed out. Girl, you want to go there? You want to go there? I said, oh, these bitches about to start telling each other business. So shout out to Jackie and Mia for telling each other business, honey. Girl, let me tell you something, girl. Them ain't our friends. Jackie is not my friend. Mia ain't my friend, girl. So if they want to get on TV and start telling each other's business, then, girl, let them. Because what's going to happen, girl, like I told y'all last time, girl, I'm going to be writing down everything that bitch got to say. And then we're going to be talking about it next Sunday. All right, y'all. I'm gone. This review was extremely too long. I did Google when Ashley when Jackie was like, "Girl, your business is in shambles," and I have the proof. And then Ashley was like, "God damn, God damn." Oh God, I was hollering. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.